Well, good morning, everyone. It is 3 a.m. in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm not exactly sure what woke me up, whether it was a dream or just my bladder, but I couldn't go back to sleep. And I woke up very compelled to get on and do this video. So here I am. I'm going to take it back to a couple of days ago. On Tuesday, I had a brief, very brief conversation with my husband regarding the future of my business. I'm coming up on 3 years, and I'm going to have to make a decision in May or before then on whether or not I am going to continue leasing my office space, or if I am going to work from home and just do virtual coaching as opposed to doing both in person and virtual. Tuesday evening, when I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. I was having ruminating thoughts about the future, and my mind wouldn't let me sleep. It was going to, what am I going to do with everything that's in my office space? I'm going to have to sell it. I don't have room for it in my home. Um, and it just spun me out of control. I couldn't sleep for 4 hours. Um, Not quite 4 hours, probably about 3 hours. But when I finally had a break in my ruminating thoughts, I was able to get into my toolbox and utilize the tools that I have developed for myself, as well as the tools that I use with my clients to get me out of that mental state. So, I reminded myself of the tools. I have breathing tools. I have the tools of mindfulness and meditation that bring me to the present and get me out of the future. And that's what I did. I was able to take control of those ruminating thoughts and help me get out of that state of panic and just remind myself, excuse me, that what I was experiencing at that moment wasn't real. It wasn't an immediate threat to my safety. And that's what my body was doing. It was putting me in a state of panic, that fight and flight, over something that wasn't happening today. And so, I utilized those tools. I was able to sleep. Um, on Wednesday, my husband and I had a much longer conversation, because I was letting him know why I couldn't sleep. I was letting him know what I did to get past that so I could sleep and where my mind is with regards to my business. And I wanted to share this because there is so much value and importance in sharing my story and what got me here, talking to you, recording live on camera, because that's huge. But I'm going to go back to 2019 and 2020 when I was what I call drowning in trauma soup. I was in full blown trauma response. I was having extreme brain fog, memory loss, multiple panic attacks throughout the day, anxiety. I was just in full overwhelm. I was forced to resign my position at the law firm I worked at. And at that point, I gave up my career in legal, which had been my career for 13 years, because at that point I realized that that career was not serving me, not in a healthy way. So, I was blessed with the financial ability to, obviously, my throat is still asleep, to take a year and heal and learn what that was. I never knew what that was. I never knew what anxiety was, what panic was, what trauma response was. And so I was having to learn what those things were and learn how to heal from them. So for a year, I was on a quest, on a journey, trying to get myself out of the darkness. I approached my primary care physician and asked for help, asked for a referral to a therapist. She gave me a prescription for an antidepressant. I never filled the prescription. I wanted to find, somebody to talk to, for one, and I wanted to find ways to control what was so out of control. Um, I learned how to meditate watching YouTube. I had never meditated a day of my life. Developed a love for it, developed a daily meditative practice. Um, Started seeing a therapist. Started working with other alternative medicine practitioners. And these were the people who saw me. These were the people who heard me. These were the people who helped me get out of the darkness. I worked with an herbalist, a hypnotherapist. I learned about kinesiology and muscle testing and emotional freedom techniques and breathing techniques and body work and all of these amazing tools that I got to learn and develop for myself to get me out of this trauma response. And, I learned other things. I developed skills doing things that I'd never really done before because I never really had the time. I was raising kids, I was working. I was finding things that I could do with my hands and my mind to get out of that trauma, out of that darkness, doing things that brought me joy and happiness. And so that's part of what I want to share because it's part of what came up in my ruminating thoughts about what was I going to have to do with the things in my office if I close my office. So I started thinking about what could I sell? What could I donate? What could I give away? The things that I want to keep. Um, a piece of furniture that I found across the street for free. And I brought it home and I refinished it. And it was designated to be the first piece of furniture for my new office. And I love it. I love it. Every time I see it, it brings me joy. So I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to sell it. But where am I going to put it? I don't have room in my house. Um, So I started thinking about other things that I can get rid of that are no longer serving their purpose, things that I accumulated when I was in the darkness. And, while those things, I don't touch them anymore, I don't use them anymore. It's been years since I've tied rope on my mannequins. Um, and so those are things that I now realize their importance and that they served a purpose that is no longer an immediate need for me, and that they may be a need for somebody else. Um, so they make me happy, and I'm able to think of them in a different light than I did on Tuesday when my mind was really dark and just thinking about negative. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. But all of this really goes to why I'm here, to share my story, to share the tools that I developed, to share the inner strength that I found in myself, to share that going through all of this is what put me here, talking to my computer, talking to all of you, doing the number one thing that I swore I would never do. I have lived a lifetime with self image issues, hating my body, avoiding cameras at all cost. So much so there's not pictures of me. And through all of this, I had to get over myself. I had to learn to heal from those childhood traumas because if I wanted to change careers and I went back to school and got certified to be a health and life coach, that for me to have a business helping people who are going through what I went through, if I can help them by teaching them, by showing them their inner light, their inner strength, by teaching them the tools to help get out of overwhelm, the tools to calm anxiety, the tools to reduce panic, that I knew that I couldn't do that if I couldn't get my message out to the people like you who need to hear it, to see that you're not alone, that there is help available, that I'm available, that there's other practitioners that are available to help you get out of those things, to help you heal. And it's so powerful to see where I am today in 2024 and knowing that I don't need to be worried about 2025 today. Today, I need to continue to show up, write blogs, send out emails, record videos for my podcast, network, work on my website. I need to show up continuously every day so that I can get my message out to you. So I just wanted to take the time because I felt compelled. If I'm up, I might as well do something productive. And I needed to share this story. I needed to share my story, my struggles, my successes, the light that I got back in my life that I thought I had lost, the resilience that I found under the clouds that I thought I had lost. It never left me. It was just cloudy and gray. And I needed other people to believe in me so that I could believe in myself again. I had lost my confidence. But every day I showed up. Every day I told myself, if this is my new normal, then I need to make it the best life that it can be. And so I continued to show up. I enrolled in school, even with brain fog and memory loss and fear and overwhelm and self doubt. I showed up every day. And eventually, the clouds lifted. I regained my confidence. I obtained my certification. I achieved a goal. Um, I opened my own business. I became an entrepreneur. None of these things were even thoughts in 2020. Had I not experienced the trauma in the way that I did, I would still be working in a law office. But instead of thinking about those things as negatives, which I did for a long time, I held anger and resentment at what was forcing me to relive those traumas every day, to reframe that anger and resentment to this was the door that was open for me to walk through. And I've walked through this door many times before in my life, going through divorce. Um, I've always just kind of needed that door to be open for me to see it, um, for me to touch the handle, turn the knob, and step through it. And so I have stepped through that door. I have set down that backpack of bricks that I have carried for a lifetime. I have learned the skills to let go. I've learned the skills and have received help to heal from my trauma. And if I share one piece of value to you at 3:31 a.m. is that you can do it too, and I believe in you. So keep showing up every day. And if you need help, I am here to help you. And there are other people in the world that are available to help you. There is no shame in asking for help. I hope you all have a wonderful night or morning wherever you are in the world. And thank you for listening to my story.